Well, you made it. Even with Tennessee's broken foot, dislocated knee, Sal's anxiety, here we are. I just want to get some thank yous out of the way. Thank you, George, for making all this possible. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Polly for helping keep Tennessee calm while she planned the wedding. Thank you to Yvonne and Jennifer for keeping Polly calm so that she could keep Tennessee calm while she was planning the wedding. Thank you also to Bella and Kim for spending the last 20 plus years listening to Tennessee plan for this wedding. And finally to Megan for remembering that on the occasion of her engagement, Tennessee always wanted a French manicure. So thank you for facilitating. Thank you. As if it isn't an honor enough to be his dad, he asked me to be the best man. And what a Father's Day present that was. But then standing next to these guys at church, I figured he had no other choice. They say you can judge a man by the friends he keeps, but everyone knows it's not polite to judge. All kidding aside, I've had the pleasure of getting to know these guys, and they are no group of finer men that exist. They are just really special. There's a guy that's been here. All of them have been there in every step of Sal's life. One has been his childhood friend that they played all night outside till it got dark. You have high school buddies who he made pacts with. He's got the all-important college freshman roommate who was always there to support him and ease his concerns. The bathroom roommate who he played video games with for hours in the adjacent stall. Another roommate who helped him survive hardships, and another one who helped him bring out the crazy side in him. It was a privilege to stand by these guys today. Now, Sal's often said that he wants to be just like me, and that actually started at an early age, actually even in the womb. During one of the sonograms, I remember the doctor asked me, "Do you want to know what sex the babies are?" And I said, "Well, if he's my boy, we're going to know. It's going to be very obvious. We're going to know him." To which the doctor said, "Yeah, he does have a big nose." Then when it was time to choose a high school, he wanted to go to the same one I graduated from, and he even had the same English teacher I had. And I was never more proud of him when on the second day of that English class, the teacher took him outside and said, "Stop goofing off. I don't want to have to teach your father twice." I got to know Tennessee fairly well early in the relationship. In fact, one day she was driving me around Portland, and only having been there for a few times, I noticed something going on the other side of the river. When I asked what it was, she slammed on the brakes and let out a classic Tennessee scream. Some might call it a screech, or a shriek, or a howl, or a squawk. Sal told me about that one. And she proclaimed, "Oh my gosh, you've never been to the farmer's market before?" At that moment, three things crossed my mind, if you count watching my life flash before my eyes. One is, well, Sal's never in for a dull moment. And the second is, thank God for that. As most everyone knows, Tennessee also goes by Tess. After getting to know her better, I came up with a perfect nickname for her, which I use to this day. I call her Tesoro. Tesoro in Italian can mean any one of the following: dear, darling, or treasure. Pretty spot on, I think. I actually have a nickname as well. I showed up once in Portland wearing a University of Tennessee t-shirt, so now Sal calls me Kiss Ass. And I think they have nicknames for each other as well. I've often heard Tennessee refer to Sal as my love, very endearing. The phrase I hear more often from Sal seems to have a slightly different connotation. He refers to her as classic Tess. Speaking of names, Le Porte, which translates to the doors in Italian, I remember calling Sal one day and saying, she's got a great breakup name. Don't let Le Porte hit you on the way out. Now, there seems to be some discrepancies around what may have been their first date. If you ask Tennessee, it was the night they went to see a movie about concussions. That was a project they were working on in class together. What's significant about that night is that Sal was having a career intramural basketball game. He was leading the team in scoring and had to leave at halftime to go on the date, but thank God he did. If you ask Sal, it was a dinner at Grassa's in downtown Portland, an Italian trattoria that serves homemade pasta. What's significant about that, everyone knows Tennessee has gluten allergies. If you ask me, it was the Granger Smith concert at the Crystal Ballroom. What's significant about that night? Nothing really, except I paid for the tickets. Yeah, right? It's a good move, right? Whenever they have an argument or disagreement, Tennessee has a way of diffusing it. She's got this saying, but we're in love. So I thought of a few examples of that. You know you're in love when you tell her she has beautiful eyes, and then ask, what color are her eyes? Because he's colorblind. You know you're in love when you send her a note and tell her how you wrote it in her favorite color, pink, and she doesn't have the heart to tell you it was gray, also because of the colorblind thing. You know you're in love when you show up at her house with flowers and orange juice when she's sick, and she slams the door in your face because she doesn't want you to see her that way. You know you're... You want to apologize? You know you're in love when she comes to your parents' house for the first time and she's wearing a Dodger hat and Dodger t-shirt, knowing that we're all lifelong Giants fans. Yeah, right? Giants. Can I be looking over here? Everybody can hear me, right? You know you're in love when you're coming back from an event in San Francisco in separate cars and she tells you to follow her even though she's only lived in the Bay Area for 2 weeks. And you end up on the wrong freeway and somehow she doesn't. You know you're in love when she decides to play a couples game where you each go to a store and pick your partner's favorite items like snacks, candy, something in their favorite color, etc. And he gets them all right, and let's just say she doesn't. And to this day, he has to remind her that Pringles are not his favorite snack food. And finally, you know you're in love when she can't find any faults in him, and he agrees. All right, now fast forward. They'd been dating for 5 years when Sal decided if he wanted this thing to last, sooner or later he'd have to ask for her hand. So he took a chance, bought a wedding band, and got down on one knee. She smiled and said yes, May 15th to be exact. As Sal would say, and Tim McGraw would agree, a heart don't forget something like that. Sal found the love of his life and now has much reason to cheer. For today they became one, surrounded by friends, families, and the boys around here. Huh? Remember that? All right, now the toast, and I'll make it relative to what I do. A relationship is just like cooking. You don't always need to follow the recipe. Don't be afraid to add a little spice, and never forget that the secret ingredient is always love. Congratulations.